Yes, friends, good morning. My name is K. Dattu Ramanandam, Chemistry faculty in SPGB GJC, SPGBR GJC, RCPRO. Today I am going to teach you the lesson by name General Principles of Metallurgy. So, in the metallurgy, what is meant by urge? To urge something. Urge means extract. Urge means extract. Urge means extract. What you are extracting is called metals. Metals extracting processes. Process is called metallurgy. So this metallurgy, in this chapter we are going to extract the metals. Why we have to extract metals? Because metals are not actually occurring in the nature in its purest form as metals. Because metals are not going to be available in the atmosphere or in the nature in its purest form of elemental form, that is as a metal. So in such a way we have to extract these metals so that we can use them. Generally what are the metals generally we see generally copper, zinc, aluminium, gold, silver, iron, etc. These are some metals we generally come across in our daily life. How they are useful I will explain. The iron generally very much useful in our daily life as very metals. Just like the window grills, window doors, and shades and all these things, we shall generally use iron here. The copper, what is the greatness of copper? Up to now, the greatness of the copper is the first metal is used by a human being is copper. The first metal used by the human being is copper. So now also we are using copper in motor windings, in electricity and all other electronics and everywhere. So next comes zinc. In the previous 10 years back we used to galvanize iron pipes for water supply. What is meant by galvanization? The coating of zinc over iron to prevent the rust over the iron pipes. We are used to coating the zinc. Zinc is very much used in the preparation of silver, German silver. We use generally as utensils in our cooking process. In that process we use zinc and other things. And next is aluminium. Aluminium is also very much useful as a biological as well as industrial preference. What is the preference of aluminium here in the industrial means? You know the aeroplanes. Aeroplane parts are completely made with aluminium alloy metals because it is the lightest metal and it can be easily used in aviation purposes. So next is, this is a gold. It's very much familiar with all of you because gold is the costliest ornamental metal used generally in our daily life. So this is gold. It's very small traces of amount will be available on the Earth's crust. This is silver, equally important along with the gold, but silver is somewhat less costlier when compared with gold. So these are the 5 metals we are going to see. Okay, so we already discussed that we have to extract these metals. From where we have to extract? Generally in the nature we are not available these metals by purest form. So we have to extract them from something. What is that something? That something is called mineral or ore. What is that? It is a mineral or ore. What is a mineral? Generally we know what is mineral water we are going to take. What is a mineral? We, the human body, are in need of a lot of minerals just like calcium, magnesium and copper also we need to some extent, and aluminium generally we take. So biologically we need some minerals for the sustenance of our health in good condition. So in such a way a mineral is also very much important for the metal also. This mineral or ore is nothing but the compound form of these metals which are available in the nature. We already told that metals are not available in the nature in its purest elemental form. We have to extract them from their minerals or ores. So what is an ore or a mineral? Mineral or ore is nothing but the compound form of all these metals. So we shall write down some important metallic ores in the tabular column. Sir, find what is an ore. Ore is a substance. It is a resource or a source of metals in nature. Those are called ores or mineral. The mineral or the rich source. A mineral or a rich source of a particular metal is called ore. Why I am telling the definition? Generally this definition very rarely, but they will be asking you for the class. For the information of subject, I am defining the ore, and these ores we tabulate some ores. Now look at some of the ores I have written on the board. But meanwhile, while I am writing, I am just consuming some time. That's why I have deducted the time. The ready-made system has been displayed on the board. You see, this is aluminium. Aluminium, the name of the metal here, and the name of the ore and its chemical formula in general. So observe this is aluminium. Aluminium has got two major ores. Those are called bauxite and kaolinite. This bauxite is generally, it is a hydroxide ore of aluminium. We can say, or else oxide hydrate ore also we can say. AlOX thrice minus 2x, where x is 0 or is 0 greater than 0, and if it is 0 there is no meaning. So that's why it has been given the name as 0 less than x and less than 1. Okay. So next is kaolinite. It is a mud, just like it will be mud, because silicon pentoxide is being given. So this is also a compound in which silicates are also present. So this is kaolinite. Its chemical formula is Al2OH taken 4 times Si2O5. The next is iron. Iron has got 4 types of ores. Those are hematite. Why the hematite? It is red in color, hemoglobin. What's the color of hemoglobin? Red. So its name is hematite. It is also red in color. That is not completely red. It will be reddish brown. So its ore we can automatically, by seeing we can recognize that is Fe2O3. What is magnetite? It is a ferromagnetic particle ore that is present in the Earth's crust, strongly attracted by a magnet. So that's why its name has been given as a magnetite. Its chemical formula is Fe3O4. And next is siderite. It is a carbonate ore of iron. It is a carbonate ore of iron. So it is Fe, that is iron carbonate. And next is iron pyrites. Its chemical formula is Fe. It is a sulfide ore. That's why it is called FeS2. And the next thing is copper. So generally we take these elements, these main metals in the extraction process. And what about the gold and silver, sir? You can ask me. Gold and silver will be available very traces amount, and a separate process will be available, single process in which we can automatically, later on we shall discuss that one also. Here it is copper. So copper has got once again 4 types of ores here. So here it is copper pyrites. The speciality of this ore is it is both the ore of copper and iron mixed. Here you can observe that copper and iron both are present. It is a sulfide ore. So it is called copper pyrites, CuFeS2. And the next is malachite. It is called malachite. It is a carbonate ore. And as well as hydroxide is also present. That is CuCO3 and CuOH plus copper hydroxide. And next is cuprite. It is an oxide ore. It is a oxide ore. Its composition is Cu2O. And the next is copper glance. That is Cu2. It is a sulfide ore of copper. So you must be able to discriminate both of these. This is copper pyrite is also sulfide ore, and copper glance is also sulfide ore. But here iron is present. Here iron is not present here. The next comes is zinc. Zinc is also very important metal. So it has got 3 ores. Generally a lot of ores are present, but what we are dealing, a mineral or a rich source Rich source means the maximum amount of metal we must extract from that. Those are generally called ores. Remaining metals, minerals or anything else, they are available, but we cannot have that much rich resource when compared these ores. Okay, so this is zinc blend or sphalerite. It is a sulfide ore of zinc. And next is calamine. So it is zinc carbonate. It is a carbonate ore. And last is zincite. It is oxide ore of the zinc. So these are important. Generally, in these ores, any one or two may be asking in your annual examination IP for 2 marks question. That's why try to remember these names, and at least you can write the name or you can write the compositions also in the annual exam. You are going to award 2 marks. Understand? Okay. Next comes time. So now, up to now we have studied about the different ores and what is metallurgy we have studied. Now the extraction process starts now here. So metallurgy starts not directly by the extraction of the metal. We have seen a lot of ores, sulfide ores, carbonate ores and oxide ores we have seen. But before going to that ores, extraction of the metals, we have to concentrate those ores. These ores that are present in the atmosphere may not be 100% pure as ore also. Ore is not 100% pure. We have to concentrate the ore. A lot of impurities will be present in that ore. So in that process, we have to follow some steps regarding the concentration of the ores. So now we are using concentration of ores. So we have to now concentrate these ores from, that means by means of removing all other impurities or eliminating other compounds that are not necessary. So such process is, we have said, concentration of ores. In this concentration of ores, we will use 3 to 4 types of processes, in which first one is hydraulic washing. You can say washing. What is hydraulic washing? The first process is hydraulic washing. Hydraulic means it is a utilization of water. So by means of water, we are purifying these ores by removing the unnecessary ores. What is meant by washing? Here take a pipe of water having great pressure. In that we put these ore scrub. Before going to hydraulic washing, we know what is meant by gong. G-U-N-G. This is called gong. So this is new terminology. What is meant by gong? Generally it will be used in annual examination also. The powdered ore, we have to directly, we cannot put the lump sum of ore directly in the water. Why? Because we cannot wash it away. A lot of mud particles will be inside the lump. So we have to powder. That is called powdered. We have to powder the ore. So the powdered ore is nothing but is called gong. So this gong we have to kept in the way of water flow. Take a water with high pressure, and in that high pressure you keep this gong powder on the way, and the particles that are heavier than the gong particles, the mud or impurities which are heavier, will be thrown downwards, and the lighter particles will be thrown away by the pressure of water. So like this, the denser impurities and non-denser impurities both will be separated by hydraulic washing. This is the first process called hydraulic washing. And the second process is, we shall see what are them, is magnetic separation. The second process is called magnetic separation. So we shall use 2 rollers. Both are connected by a belt. This is a magnetic roller. This is a magnetic roller, and it is a normal roller. normal roller. So by just observing the diagram itself, you can easily understand what is magnetic separation. Here is a magnetic roller as well as a non-magnetic roller. Both are connected by a belt, which is always rolling along these magnetic and non-magnetic rollers. So the gang material, this is called gang material, which is kept on the belt here. This belt, while rolling from here to here, the magnetic material, what are they? They will be attracted and they will be separated nearer to the roller, and the non-magnetic will be thrown outside by the centripetal force outside into the another beaker or another vessel here. So such type of magnetic separation we can use. The magnetic, such example is iron is highly magnetic in nature. So it is automatically attracted by the magnetic roller and is deposited in this magnetic vessel, and the non-magnetic impurities present in the gong will be thrown away into the non-magnetic vessel here. So by this process also we can separate the magnetic ores and concentrate them to the maximum extent. And the third part is froth flotation. Third part is froth flotation. So you can observe directly by its name what is meant by froth and what is flotation. Floating means whatever that is, a layer like a particle that is floating upon water, something floating. Floating means what it is upper side of that. It will not be drowned in the water, it will be above the side, it's upper surface. It is called floating. And froth means here it is come foam. What is meant by froth? It is under the said as foam. A large quantity of foam we can say it as a froth. So for this purpose we have to take a vessel here, a big vessel, whatever it may be. So this is all water here. Water we can use. In water, a fan will be arranged here like this on the bottom, and from this way we can insert ore or gong. Sorry, it is not visible, I think so here.
Okay.
Is it visible? So we can say this as ore or gong material. We are inserting through this way, and we are discussing about the froth flotation. So the froth must be seen here. How this froth will get? Generally when we take a foam, it will not be sustaining not more than 1 or 2 seconds. It will always broken automatically by the air pressure and whatever the different means here. But some of the pine oil or xanthates, these are the material. When we add this material to the water, we will get a lot of foam, unexpected foam. We can get a large quantity of foam. This is the reason the pine oil and xanthates will be used in the mixture of water along with the gum particles. So meanwhile, even though we get a lot of foam, it cannot sustain for not more than 1 or 2 seconds. So for the sustenance, we will use stabilizers. We have to stabilize the foam here. Stabilizers. What are the stabilizers? We are using cresol. We will use cresol, a material which will increase the time of the foam for more than nearly 1 minute or 1.5 minutes. We can make that foam unbreakable as it is in that form of a foam for larger period of time. So these are stabilizers. We use stabilizers to stabilize the foam, not to break it. And while you are using this process, when the fan is being rotated, the bubbles we are going to get here. Why? Because when you rotate your hand or you just shake your hand inside water, generally bubbles will come due to the air gaps. So the air gap bubble will be coming, goes along with this, and the lighter particles of ore and impurities will be separated by this foam. The harder material will be deposited on the bottom of the vessel here. The heavier and harder materials which cannot be carried away with the foam will be deposited under the bottom of the vessel, and the lightest impurities will be carried away by the froth and being floated, and this type of froth flotation, is called froth flotation. Generally sulfide ores will be purified in this way. So generally we can use both the ores. We can take lead sulfide and zinc sulfide. We can take at the same time both the ores can be separated. We take lead sulfide as well as zinc sulfide, both mix it in the vessel, and you can use the froth flotation process. For this process we have to use a sodium cyanide or a potassium cyanide, whatever it may be, a solution must be used. Why? Because this is a separator of these both the layers. The lightest one is lead. The first one is lead. The lead will be automatically floating first. The first floor, this type of first layer is lead sulfide, and second will be zinc sulfide. It is not means by lead or weight of that, but this will be preventing any one of them. It will be preventing the zinc sulfide to go along with the froth. Always the first lead will be goes upward, and this will be prevented by sodium cyanide. After the complete separation of lead sulfide, zinc sulfide process will be gone. So these are called separators. So this is called froth flotation. This is 4 marks question, generally asked in IP examinations, very frequently asking every year, at least in the 8 marks AB section, or else in 4 marks question generally they will be asking. So get prepared, very easy to explain all these things. Okay, thank you. Next. Now the 4th process is leaching. Here the bauxite. You see the bauxite is readily soluble in sodium hydroxide at highest temperatures, nearly 473 Kelvin, nearly. It is soluble. If the impurities which are there, they will not be soluble in sodium hydroxide. Only the bauxite ore will be soluble in sodium hydroxide. So such a type of bauxite which is soluble in sodium hydroxide, later on by treating with carbon dioxide, the solution of sodium hydroxide plus bauxite be treated with carbon dioxide, you are going to get pure bauxite along with some water molecules. Okay, bauxite plus water molecules, and when it is heated, once again you are going to get the purest form of bauxite. Here it is impure bauxite. So simply we can say, by seeing the picture you can automatically, this is a way which I have chosen to explain this. So impure bauxite, when it is mixed with sodium hydroxide nearly up to 473 Kelvin, it is soluble, and later on the soluble solution, when treated with carbon dioxide, the bauxite and plus some water molecules will be available here. The remaining impurities here, undissolved impurities will be separated, filtered. So here, before passing carbon dioxide, this will be after dissolution of sodium hydroxide, bauxite along with sodium hydroxide, the undissolved impurities will be filtered. Later on, carbon dioxide is passed through that solution, and the bauxite will be forming hydrate molecules of bauxite and along with hydrate molecules, and later on by heating, the water molecules will be evaporated. By showing upward means it is a gaseous state of water molecules will be gone, and pure bauxite, that concentrated pure bauxite, will get by this process in this type of leaching process. So chemically this leaching process is also applicable to silver and gold. And silver and gold, when they are mixed with the cyanide solutions, silver and gold ores, when they are mixed with cyanide solutions, they will get compounds of cyanide. Later on, by the electrolysis process or by other chemical processes, gold and silver can be extracted separately as a purest form of metal. So this is the main process used. Leaching is used generally only for gold and silver. Ag means argentum, A means aurum. This is gold and this is silver. So these two will be generally separated from this type of leaching processes. We can study in the later.